Good morning, guys. About an hour ago, I was doing my morning routine and I was writing out my goals for the day, and I was thinking about my plan. And I realized that that'd be a good video, so I wanted to share some stuff with you guys. So I just kind of wanted to break down some different things for goal setting. So a lot of people seem to misinterpret dreaming with goal setting. And there's a big difference there, because when you dream, you might have this grandiose idea of how you're going to succeed and what you're going to do, but there's just no plan to get there. So goal setting is what you do when you take that dream and you say, okay, I want to do this. How do I get there? Because there's steps to that process. So it's how you keep yourself motivated, and it's how you slowly work your way or quickly work your way through that path to attain your dream. When you talk to people about goals, and this is just common across the board, people have this misconception that saying things like, I want to lose 20 pounds is a goal. Like, that's not a goal, that's a dream. There's no plan, there's no how, there's no attainable steps to get there. Today we're going to talk about how to set SMART goals. Setting SMART goals is a 5-step process to ensure that when you set a goal, it's something that you're going to be able to achieve. The acronym SMART comes from something I learned in the Marine Corps, but this is a pretty common way to set up your goals and break down your goals, and this honestly works. I mean, this is what I do. So one of the first things I do before I actually set the SMART goals is I break my goals down by time period. So you want to set short-term and long-term goals, and what I mean by this is I will actually sit down and I'll set like a 5-year goal, and then from that I'll break it into 1-year goals, and then from that I'll break it into 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 1 week, 1 day. And if you break it all down like this, it might look like I want to achieve $5,000 a month in passive income at the 5-year mark. Well, then in order to do that, I need to gain $1,000 a month in passive income every year. Okay, well, in order to do that, I need to gain $500 a month in passive income every 6 months. $250 every 3 months, $85 every month, earn an extra $20 to $30 a month in passive income every week. And when you break it down like that, earning an extra $20 or $30 a week doesn't sound so bad compared to earning an extra $5,000 a month. I mean, that's a big jump. So those little incremental steps will get you there, but you need to set those goals along the way. Otherwise, you're just shooting in the dark. The first part of setting SMART goals is specific. A lot of people lose sight of their goals because they're just too general. Saying something like, I want to get in shape, really doesn't narrow anything down. Because for me, that might mean losing 20 pounds, while for you, it might mean gaining 20 pounds. And for this guy over here, it might mean staying the exact same weight, but toning their abs, or bench pressing more, or running faster. And so you want to set that specific goal. So for mine, it would be lose weight. The next part is measurable. So again, instead of just saying, I want to lose weight, it's more beneficial for me to say, I want to lose 20 pounds. Because having a measurable goal means that it's achievable. You can cut it into steps. So this goes back into the short term and long term. If it's not measurable, I can say I want to lose weight over 6 months. I might lose a little bit of weight. But if I say I want to lose 20 pounds over 6 months, now I've got, okay, 10 pounds in 3 months, 5 pounds in a month and a half, 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds this month. And again, it all goes back to mindset, because breaking it down into losing a half pound a week seems much easier to do than breaking it down into just losing weight over a month. Like, you're not going to get anywhere doing that. The next part is attainable. And what I mean by attainable is just setting something that you can achieve. Now, there's actually some discussion about this. So there's different philosophies out there as far as setting big goals so you can fall short, and setting little goals so you can incrementally increase, and setting goals that you right on the money. So Marine Corps leans towards setting attainable goals, which would be like shave 2 minutes off my 3-mile run time in the next 3 months, rather than just saying, I want to get a perfect score next week. It's not going to happen. So setting attainable goals, because what you want to do, and that's why we break it down from the 6 months to 1 week, is because as you break it down, it becomes more attainable. Saying you want to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 months might seem a little bit intense, and it might actually be somewhat difficult to convince yourself to get started on that, because it's just not something you're going to be able to achieve. Saying you want to lose a half pound this week is a lot more attainable, and because of that, you're going to start making that progress, and it's going to snowball into that big goal. The next portion is realistic goals. Setting realistic goals is similar to attainable, but instead of focusing on if you can accomplish it, it's just focusing on whether or not you're even setting a realistic expectation in the first place. Losing 20 pounds in 6 months might be attainable, but it just might not be realistic based on your amount of time you have off from work, or if you have injuries, or if you have, dietary issues, whatever the case may be. You need to make sure it's a realistic goal for yourself. That falls kind of more in the know yourself and seek self-improvement role, and just understanding what's realistic for you. So losing 20 pounds for me might be totally attainable, but losing 20 pounds for somebody who is on bed rest for 6 months is probably not going to be as attainable. So just knowing when you're setting your goal, whether it's a realistic goal for yourself, and then again, that kind of piggybacks into the attainable and breaking it down to where it's achievable in your mind and you work towards it. The final part of this goal is time-based, and this is probably the most important part. And the reason for that is procrastination. Every one of us at some point or another has procrastinated in life. And there's a lot of us out there that, if given a task by our boss, would wait until the last day. In fact, sometimes I still find myself guilty of this, where I'm given a college essay that I have to write by the end of the month, and I could do it on Monday, and it really wouldn't be that hard. But instead, I find myself waiting until midday Sunday, and now all of a sudden I've got like 2 hours to knock it out. Ensuring that your goals are time-based allows you to set a no later than time or date so that you actually reach those goals. So the saying 6 months for 20 pounds means like, hey, I need to do it by that time period, rather than just saying, I want to lose 20 pounds. And so that's the time-based portion, because when you give yourself a deadline, you're much more likely to achieve it, and you're much more likely to achieve it faster, because we like to complete our goal. There's something satisfying about checking the box, and if you give yourself a time base, now all of a sudden you have to check the box by a certain time or you failed, and that mentally gives you some motivation to keep going. Real quickly, to give you two different examples of what this might look like of bad and good goal setting. First example I will use is the weight loss one we've been talking about. The original goal that I hear a lot of people set is, I want to get in shape. Whereas my goal might look like, I want to lose 20 pounds of fat in the next 6 months. That's specific in fat loss, measurable 20 pounds, attainable because it's not an outrageous goal, realistic because I know that I'm fit enough now to make that happen, and it's time-based. I gave myself 6 months, and that's kind of how you break it all down. And then I would break it down from there and make it into smaller short-term goals to make it more achievable. Another example would be in the real estate world. Instead of saying, I want to retire through passive income with real estate, which is great, you say something like, my goal was, I want to attain $5,000 a month in passive cash flow from rental properties by the year 2020, January 1st. And by giving myself a specific goal with a measurable amount of money, I broke it down to be an attainable goal over a realistic time period, and then I set myself an actual deadline, and I write down every day that I'm going to make this much money by this date, this much money by this date, and I'm making progress towards it. And that's the biggest thing. You know, if I fall short of that and I make $2,000 a month in passive income in the year 2020, that's okay. I would live with that. It would be better than what would have happened if I just said, I want to make money in real estate, because it just wouldn't happen. So make sure that you are setting SMART goals. And again, SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. Now that you understand how to set goals, you need to start doing that every day. So I journal my goals for like 5 minutes every day. I write down my goal once, then I write down some different goals for the day, some objectives to kind of work towards that, and then I write down my big picture goal again. And sometimes I break it down by like 5 year all the way down, but more likely than not, I'll write out, my big three. Like for right now, my big three for this year are 30 additional rental units, $3,000 in additional rental income, and finish my associate's degree, because I've just been slacking for ages and I have free college, so why not? It's actually looking like that one might not happen because of the amount of time that's left, so it probably wasn't realistic, so I'll end up having to give myself until midway through next year. The final piece here, and this is where I differ from some people, this is the Grant Cardone methodology, this is the 10x rule. I like to take whatever goal I set and 10x it, as he says. So originally I was sitting down with the wife and I was going through these goals at the beginning of this year, and I wrote down 3 rental units for the year 2018. And that was very attainable, very achievable, and realistic. But it didn't really push me. It wasn't really out of my comfort zone. We'd already bought 3 in the last 2 years, so what's 3 in 1 year? It wasn't really that crazy. In fact, I could buy 1 triplex and call it a day. So what we did was we sat down and we said, we're going to 10x this goal like Grant Cardone talks about, and we took that from 3 units to 30 units. Now 30 might not necessarily be attainable, but it forces me to try to find a way to make that big goal happen. As he says, take massive action. And I think that directly attributable to setting that goal is the fact that we bought a 10-unit apartment by the end of February. And that's a third of those goals. That's 3 times the number of units that I was originally going to set my goal for the year. And I think that had that guy called me and said he wanted to sell me a 10 unit and I hadn't 10x my goals, I probably would have said no, that's a little outside my comfort zone. And it was outside my comfort zone. But because I was ready to take on the outside of the comfort zone, because I had prepped myself with big goals, it wasn't that big of a deal. Alright guys, I hope you got something out of this goal setting video. I'd love to help you out with some more personal development stuff. If you like it, shoot me a comment, let me know, and I'd love to get more into detail on some of this stuff. If you want me to get back to real estate, tell me to get back to real estate. We'll talk more about that. Tell me what you want to learn about next. Comment, subscribe, share some of the videos. The more we grow as a channel, the more power I have to collaborate with YouTube influencers and real estate influencers, and I can actually convince people to come in here and we can really have some deep dive mastermind conversations to help you grow as investors, to help me grow as investors, and to really just share the wealth. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great day.